I'm Joe Gig Werks. I'm the managing partner of Gig Werks and the founder of Project Ready. And today's webcast is going to be about how to automate intelligent document creation and assembly with SharePoint and Nintex. So typical housekeeping, a little bit about us before we begin here. So Gig Werks has won a myriad of awards in the industry over the years. We've had a focus on SharePoint as the core of our practice now for more than a decade. And with that, we've achieved statuses such as Virtual Technology Specialist for Microsoft New York. Enterprise Group, we are Virtual Technology Evangelist for Nintex, our partner here today in the webcast. Won awards with them as well, and we have a very deep industry experience around legal, financial services, architecture, engineering, construction, essentially professional services. And with that, as we've evolved over the years, along with SharePoint, we have expertise in full skill sets around Office 365, SharePoint on-premise, the development and maintenance of cloud applications, or the modern app model as we refer to it, business intelligence, and the Microsoft stack in general. We do have a number of packaged solutions and offerings. So our packaged solutions include premium advisory services, on how to help you modernize the enterprise. As the world shifts to 2016 and the cloud, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's been built on premise that really needs to be rebuilt in a considerable way or replaced with great products like Nintex. And our advisory services plan help you with that journey, as well as day-to-day advice and sort of guru on demand for your various projects within your enterprise. We also continue to offer our very successful and long-standing program around SharePoint and Office 365 workshops. This is a quick start to get you up and running everywhere from whatever infrastructure is required, taking you through all the various aspects of the product, typically these days because most folks are running the product, what's new and different in each version, and then with that, a hands-on lab that is contextualized to a specific business goal for your enterprise. We do SharePoint business solution planning, and we have a number of Nintex quick starts as well around workflow, and again, much like our SharePoint workshop, get you up and running and give you a hands-on workshop in context. Compliance approval workflow, what you're going to see today as well. And also we have SharePoint modernization assessment, which is to take a look at the state of affairs as it relates to whatever customizations, WSPs, et cetera, and so forth that you currently have deployed on premise. And again, in combination with that assessment and advisory services plan, help our customers get to that stage so that they can fully modernize the enterprise. Now, today we're going to be focusing on the use of Nintex around this automation of intelligent document creation. And there's a reason why we suggest and recommend third-party apps. Third-party apps is a pretty simple value proposition. The feature doesn't exist out of the box. Custom typically is very risky, and with it, difficult to really measure and control that return on investment. And so by getting an out-of-the-box platform that is ostensibly guaranteed to work, you greatly reduce risk and drive that high return on investment. Also, if other people have spent hundreds of thousands of hours, in case of Nintex, 400 or 500 employees, 200 full-time developers, why recreate the wheel that they have been bringing to market so effectively for the last decade? The other reason why you'll pick a third-party application is you have a specific business need to drive business goals, business operations, or industry-specific solutions, like you'll see today. The other thing about third-party applications is they scale. They're easy to upgrade. The manufacturer is giving you that upgrade path, making sure they stay heel in step within what the market is doing and the platforms they run on. Speed to market, it's just faster. And one of the reasons that you'll also look for these third-party apps is very commonly for our friends in financial services and healthcare and legal, everything from HIPAA, SEC, and ethical firewalls, you need to satisfy very commonly within professional services regulatory requirements and compliance. And then finally, product and solution support, knowing that there's a rich community of experts who can help you implement these tools to create that business solution. So Nintex for Workflow, the premier workflow platform in market today. Nintex has a number of features, and we have separate webcasts and other stuff you can find on YouTube and off our website. But some high-level features is the reusability of templates and modules, where you can save snippets of action. And really, this incredible visual interface that allows you to build chunks of your application and reiterate and reuse them. This allows you to share and align business practices across teams, absolutely reduces the burden on IT, which is already overwhelmed in our experience. And there's just an incredible number of efficiency gains by reducing costs around common processes, the ability to get insight, real-time status of workflows. And then with that, measure and subsequently improve your business performance, and features like lazy approval, mobile forms. It's a long and lengthy list. Nintex itself boasts over 7,000 plus global customers worldwide right now. A few notable ones I would argue up on the screen today. And really what Nintex does is it aligns to what is the absolute objective of digital transformation. Through workflow processes, by connecting departments and companies to customers, by driving efficiency. Really satisfying Agile. Agile development was much ballyhooed 10 years ago, but nobody went near it. Almost all our customers look to Agile development now, because once you have tools that are solid and repeatable, finally Agile really makes the most economic sense in our experience. And with it, with digital transformation, what really drives it, which is what the real purpose of all technology is to become more competitive and more profitable. So with workflow as a service and their new Hawkeye suite, the ability to do process analytics, to see where, in this example, contracts lie geographically, what types of contracts, what is the economic outcome of contracts in this particular case, or other workflow processes as they move through the organization, is huge. And Nintex Hawkeye, its power is not just limited to its own reporting, but its ability to export and then subsequently mash up data from other line of business systems. So let's get to the real crux and value proposition of today's demonstration. So what do we mean by intelligent document creation? What you'll see in the example is fill out a form, wizard, decisions are made for you, calculations. And with this, you have vastly improved accuracy. You have compliance because now you can vet and validate where data came from and where it goes. And with any professional services customer that we know, the industry is paper-driven. And so assembling content that ultimately is going to more than likely or not have some sort of impact on your ability to remain compliant with a number of agencies that exist, the ability to assemble data from the enterprise with baked-in intelligence and repeatability from virtually any data source allows you to drive the automation of documents by filling out a form and then pumping out Word, PDF, PowerPoint, Excel, iterations and variations of those documents in formats that, of course, because you're using SharePoint as your back end, and with Nintex, not only does that content become really sort of fixed and accurate, but its output also then has benefit of final review and distribution. And of course, this has significant time savings that drives a very quick return on investment for this effort. If you're sitting there and you're taking, document after document, taking a document of type, doing global find and replaces and hoping you hit it all, versus fill out a form and 10 documents are made for you, man, the possibilities are just limitless. And what you'll see is that the automation of document creation with this intelligence and this ability to consume with authority information has a wide variety of application. Pitch books, statements of advice, annual reports, response letters, NDAs, MSAs, corporate legal, anybody who works in insurance, which produces just a plethora of documentation. Pharma, as you have FDA regulations that, if there's a change in the status of something that has to do with a particular product that pharmaceutical entity has produced that has to be notified, the ability to pull in information from Salesforce and from SharePoint and other data sources to rapidly produce documents whose audit trail you can produce on a click has enormous value. And so I'm not going to read this full list at you. For those of you who are on today, please do fill out our survey at the end of today's cast, and we'll make sure to get you the link to today's video as well as this PowerPoint deck. So one of the major advantages that the Nintex suite just in general brings to the table is just a ton of pre-built connectors. Heterogeneous is the new homogeneous within the modern enterprise, as you mix and match proprietary systems, on-premise systems, cloud-based systems. So business continuity, the new business continuity, I contend, is the establishment of a single user experience. It's far less about the data center now. Data centers, and especially cloud-based data centers, these are commodities. These are not things you hope will work. They just really do work 99.9% of the time, you know. If not 5 nines, 3 nines, right? And so what Nintex recognized very early on was that workflow is all well and good, but workflow, if it's going to connect business processes with efficiency, need to be able to connect to a wide variety of disparate data sources. And so out of the box, the ability to pull in information, write back information to systems like Amazon Web Services, Dropbox, Facebook, Salesforce, Microsoft CRM. Just, again, I'm not going to read you a list on the screen, but that ability to surface and manipulate and orchestrate the transmission of data across this plethora of systems really goes a long way to that digital transformation, where now end users are empowered to work together collectively without being frustrated by how many applications they have to go to and a constant sea of changing user experience. That is both frustrating, really hurts adoption, and at the end of the day is bad for the bottom line. So we're going to have 2 demonstrations today. The first one, we're going to focus on municipal treasuries. So in this particular example, we're going to show how to achieve FINRA compliance. So the use case here, the actors within this workflow, if you will, you have a group that works with municipalities. They sell bonds and other financial vehicles. But in the course of that action, where they represent their clients, they have to maintain FINRA compliance, which is time-consuming. And the whole process is paper-intensive. And with that, error-prone. And if you do it old school, just copying and pasting, taking a document out of a file system, there's no way to have that approval trail established so that you can validate you've been compliant. So the solution we're going to present is a wizard-based approach, where you're going to collect information via a form. That information connects and is integrated to other line of business information, which again reduces errors, it ensures consistencies, and it brings down the time it takes to do these things, because much better to select an authoritative value as it relates to a document that has to be created than remembering is it Inc. or LLC and then hope you got it right. Now once that form's filled out, we're going to automatically create the documents and the set of documents that are required to satisfy both the client demands and the FINRA regulation. And so with this, with forms, with workflow, and then the DocGen actions, you'll see examples of like how you automatically can produce a broker-dealer form, G17, and have an audited approval chain throughout. And then, of course, reporting. So the second demonstration that we'll briefly touch on is rental application. Rental applications, common activity. You know, you get a 40-page doc and about 4 paragraphs are really unique. The rest is kind of boilerplate. And so with this, you can keep all your legal verbiage stored in a list. You have an application template. And so if there's a different rider for one building to another, such as pets, through our solution set, those conditions can be picked up on, dealt with, and done in an automated fashion. And once that document's done, being a digital world, why print it and send it out for signature? When using Nintex's DocuSign action, you could just simply send out that final output and have it signed digitally. So with that, I would like to turn over our demonstration today to Neil Barkina, our Chief Technology Officer. Neil?
Thanks, Joe. Okay, so thank you all for joining us today. My name is Neil. I'll be going through the demonstration portion of this, and as Joe mentioned, I'll be covering 2 demos, first of which is the municipal bonds demonstration, and the other is around the rental applications. So first off, we're gonna do the municipal bond site. As Joe mentioned, this the way this really started out was, really a department in chaos. They didn't know how to handle all the paperwork, all the automation of the process. So they came to us, and we developed this solution. And that's what I'll be showing you guys today. We've removed, obviously, all of their names or anything related to the customer, as I'm sure they wouldn't be pleased with that. And we've genericized it. But essentially, this is all of those components are going to be what you'll see here today. So the first thing I'll just give a little background on is this homepage. So they wanted to have an experience where when they first logged in, they wanted to see kind of like a dashboard of all of the different deals and templates and reports that are happening in the system. On the left-hand side, you see they have what they call the deal files or the transactions. And on the right side, you have the templates. So as part of their process, they had to generate tons and tons of documentation, as Joe mentioned, the BD, the G17, and so on. And they had to be very meticulous about, frankly, a lot of things that are error prone, and they didn't need their best guys doing this type of stuff. So they had to make sure all the address information was always consistent, no typos there, and they were just spending a huge amount of time on this. So all of the different documents that we generate are in the templates area. They wanted to have a single place where they can maintain and update their templates as regulatory, changes and there's new rules. They wanted one place to go and mark up their documents. On the bottom, they also wanted to have a rich report and dashboard around, how much time are they spending on all these different processes, and also the ability to be able to drill down and see, hey, based on this type of municipality, where am I spending my time? How much money are we expending, and so on. So those were the requirements that they gave us, and and they had a huge deadline. Frankly, had we not been using the power of Nintex and this platform, there would have been no chance that we would have hit their deadline, but we did, and this is the product of what you see today. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go and create what's called a new issuer. So this is, in their world, the client or the customer. They would fill out this form and enter all of the relevant information about them. Address information, type of issuer, whether it's education, county, state transport, what the entity type is, who the banker is, and all of this other type of information, what their Moody's rating was. And they also wanted a way to access all of this information from one user interface. So there was a ton of information that they were collecting. Simply by changing this view, we're able to go in and now edit information about the G17. So here, some of the information that got entered on the first page flows through, so you don't have to re-enter the address and the state and so on. Now, after they fill out the issuer, the next part is they go on and they create a deal, or what they call, again, a transaction. And this is a many-to-one relationship, so you can have multiple transactions for any customer, just as you would, in most industries. So this is also another electronic form that you go in and fill out. Another huge advantage of this is you have the ability to have rules and have things cascade and really have everything in one place. Another thing that an electronic form allows you to do is to feed the workflow, again, powered by Nintex, but you need a place to say, who's the deal admin, who's the underwriter, and the system actually recognizes these as actual users in the system. And that the reason that matters is because they'll then get an email, they can then log into the system and respond, and they're actually active participants in this work stream. Another requirement was that they wanted to be able to generate this medley of documentation over and over again, all from within the same interface. So if they were, let's say filling out the BD pre-approver, broker-dealer document, they may fill out this information. Let's say something changed from 80,000 to 90,000. They want to just be able to go in here and click the generate button. So that was another wire up that we did to allow for that. If something changed, they could just regenerate the document, goes and passes on to the workflow all of the different information, and it then goes, and you see here it's been sent to the deal administrator for approval. So I'm going to go ahead and save and close this, and I'm going to take a look at my deal folder. So the other nice thing about it is all of these different documents are being generated and assembled all in one place. So here's here's the BD approvals that I've generated for this account. And if I go in here, I can view this. This is a PDF document. And you have the option of actually generating not just PDF, you can generate Word documents. You can ingest a number of different formats for the assembly of the document. So pretty much all of the different Office types, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and so on. All of those can be part of the document assembly process. And you see that here it went and filled out all of the different information I needed. So the amount requested, the address is all correct. Based on the questionnaire, it's checked off the right boxes. And this is just a huge time savings. Now this is one I generated a couple of days ago, but in a couple of seconds you'll see that the new document will get generated in here as well. The next thing I wanted to show is essentially some of the different templates that we have. So this is the BD approval. Now if we take a look at, as an example, the closed deal checklist, I think this will give a better idea as to how all this stuff gets assembled. So, you know, as usual for Nintex, you know, they try to give you the best interface possible, and essentially to create these templates, you really need to know nothing more than how to use Microsoft Word. You open it up in the Word client, and you go in and you tag up the document. So who the banker is, who the pricing data is, and so on. If anything were to change, again, you're doing nothing more than just going into Microsoft Word, making all the updates in here, ingesting it into the workflow if there's any business rules around that, and so on. But this is not coding by any stretch of the imagination. This is all really geared towards the business and sort of IT pros, but not the development. So that's just a more complex example of another template that you would mark up. And also, as part of that process, you of course do have the workflow component. So I went ahead and, you know, because I was the underwriter on that deal, the workflow went and sent me an email, and it's telling me that I have to approve this. I could click and view it. And the beauty of Nintex is I could simply reply to this email and type approved. This is what's called lazy approval. So the system actually grabs that keyword and knows to now send it along to the underwriter or to the deal admin or whoever the next actor would be. But it's just a really great functionality, especially if you're on the go. Now on the bottom, you see there's a number of different dashboards in here. This is powered by what's called Nintex Hawkeye. This is a partnership that they did with Microsoft using their Power BI technology, which some of you may be aware. Really just a great suite of applications. I think it's the best reporting solution on the market today. Everything from the user interface to the capabilities around drill down, and also the ability to customize it as well. So when you log into Nintex, Hawkeye gives you a lot of built-in templates. So you have the ability to see, you know, participation and workflow process. You know, how long is the underwriter taking versus the deal admin. But another requirement we had was that they wanted to know also based on the amount requested. So because this is powered by Power BI, we were very easily able to just add this dashboard in. And you'll notice that this whole thing is interactive. When you click on one slice, it actually affects all of the other dashboards. And again, take my word for it, when you go in, being able to modify these dashboards is just a breeze. So So with that, I think that's the end of the of this demo. I'm going to move on to my next demonstration, which is around rental applications. So in this scenario now, we have essentially two entities. We have rental properties and rental applications. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fill out a rental property. And you'll notice in here, nice stylized, customized form. This is all powered by Nintex Forms. So I can go in here and fill out all the information. Another advantage of Nintex Forms is this is also mobile compatible. So if you are on your mobile device, you can fill these out as well. And I'm just going to go through and fill out all of this information. This is going to be about the rental property. So you just go through, fill out all of this information. You can also have rules engine in this as well. So let's say, based on a particular state, there may be specific rental rules. You can have that actually flow through as well. So I'm just going to quickly fill this out and click the Save button. After you create the property application, the next step is to create a rental agreement. And this is where the power of document generation comes in. So based on this rental agreement, it's actually going to go and send an email to the potential renter that they can fill out. It also even uses DocuSign if you want, so you can actually have them literally sign it, and it's going to send you back the PDF. So I'm just going to quickly finish filling this out, and we're going to say here's the rental amount. And the rules aren't just specific to the form. You can actually have the rules affect the workflow as well. So as an example, as Joe mentioned, I'm going to click off that I have pets. This is then going to put in the pets clause into the rental application. So as for me, the property manager, it's just a huge time savings. I don't have to worry about, did I do this form? Did I have to customize that template? As usual, you're probably going to have a number of different templates based on all of these different conditions, but it just saves you from having to remember all those different things. So I'm going to go ahead and finish submitting this. And now what this is going to do is it's going to generate a new rental lease agreement. And let's go ahead and open up this one that I did just before. And you'll see that the full document got generated. And again, this was a number of different templates that came together. Here's my address information. Here's all the city, state, all the different lease information, what the security deposit was, and so on. And and this is quite a large document. Here's the pets clause. Just saves me oodles of time generating all this stuff. Another thing you'll see in here is, you have a table. So it supports tables, it supports image files, and this is actually something that not a lot of solutions out there do. There are a number of document generation solutions, but very few of them have this type of fidelity and all of these different features. And especially the ease of use, which I'm going to show you in a second. So here's the whole document. Now that we've seen that process, let's take a look a little bit into actually how this gets created. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my my workflow here, and I've gone ahead and loaded this up. You see here that one of the steps is the document generation step, after which it goes and sends to DocuSign. But let me open up the document generation. So if you remember, I mentioned all you need to know here is just how to use Microsoft Word. The actual document generation itself is a compilation of a number of what we call snippets. So you've got, as an example, the cover sheet. You've got the pets clause. And all of these different snippets come together in a particular way based on the rules. So again, if they didn't check off pets, you would not get the pet clause put inside it. You can control everything about, the file name and the file template, what type of file extension it's going to use, whether it's going to be PDF or Word document. And actually, I'm just going to go ahead and open one of these, and I'll show you how easy it is. So when you click on Open and Tag, this goes and opens up Microsoft Word, and along the right here is what's called the Nintex Document Tagger. This is implemented actually as a Word task pane, which is pretty neat. Another thing also is, let's say you didn't even have Microsoft Word installed. You can actually do this all using Word Online. That was something I learned last week. Pretty neat stuff. So all you need is a browser, opens up the document tagger, and away you go. But essentially the way this works is all of these different areas are included with, have these different tags. So based on the different workflow properties and variables that you have in your workflow, let's say you wanted to put in like a new tag here. It's really simple. You simply click on Item Properties, and let's say I want to put in the name of the city. There it goes. It just puts it right in. Same thing for, let's say you had any table structures. Obviously that gets a little bit more sophisticated, but all of that's supported. You can do tables, you can do bulleted lists. So here's my tabular structure, and here's the different images that I have. So quite a lot of advanced functionality, again, put into what I consider a very easy to use interface. Another thing I would say about it is I've seen other solutions out there, overly complex. This thing is just a breeze, and especially also with the workflow component, which is all drag and drop and so on. So that's how you create the document. You've got your workflow in here. You've got the ability to change all the table and image data. After you're done, you click on Publish, and then away you go with the workflow.
Well, we are truly excited about this. I hope you piqued your interest somewhat. The value proposition of this is just something that as technical professionals, we are just ardently in support of in terms of the efficiency and the whole host of other features that we hope we represented today. Clearly, any additional questions, information, one-on-one demonstrations, that is what we are here for. And as always, we really do appreciate the time folks take out of their day for us to present these topics and these solutions. And with that, I just want to thank everybody for coming out today.